What up, what up? It's that time. World event. We're gonna get BARF. We're gonna get Congruence on here. Con man.
Yo,
Yo, yo, yo, yo, yo. What's
yo,
going on?
bro. Sorry if I'm late.
Oh, no, you're good. How you
I
feeling
I
today?
I was finished the fucking joint. Oh,
Finishing the joint congruence. You too. Welcome in.
What's up, bro?
Nice. We're all here together. I was just asking Barf how he's doing. How you feeling today?
Not good. I think I said that. I think I said that last time. Nah, bad. Like, I'm good now, man. It's kind of a dark night.
Having
yeah, for real.
So, Con, you're having like some weird things going on with your energy over there.
Yeah, definitely my energy's off the last couple days. Like my creative energy's been really good. Like around the time that I was, announcing the retirement and shit. But the last couple days, I just been a little bit overwhelmed and just in general, I just been dealing with some lack of energy and kind of overwhelmed with a lot of the stuff I'm trying to execute because I'm a perfectionist with everything I do. So if I'm not perfecting what I'm doing, I get really upset. And then if I'm doing multiple things at once, it sometimes can feel like I got like split personalities with the shit that I'm doing. But it's I'd rather live like that and be constantly busy than not be able to do anything like that and be distracted. So
Now, when you go through something like that, do you go to people like Barb? Do you go to people like Chevy? Kind of how is there a
yeah,
circle around you that helps you out through this journey?
definitely, bro. Uh, when I go to barf, usually it's like about the same like little rotation of things. Like tonight, like I was like I've been smoking a lot lately, and like I was taking edibles nightly, and like just like going to sleep, kind of waking up, getting a good sleep and shit. But I didn't have any for a while, so I caught some edibles and shit for the interview, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have some edibles. I'm gonna be chill. I had some, and the shit hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like way out of it. And then on top of it, like um I was like, all right, I'm like, yeah, I'll get some food ordered, and like I'm like rewatching Breaking Bad right now,
Worst
and like,
idea of the year.
nah. But the food, bro, nah, the food killed the high and it helped me come down, bro. Like it wasn't a bad idea. But like, nah, like I ended up watching Breaking Bad. I'm rewatching that after like a few years, and like, it was like it's in the second season. I think it was the finale. It was like it was like the darkest episode by far, like so far in the series at that point. And I'm just like, it helped, but at the same time, I'm sitting there watching this. And I'm like, this is a weird way to prepare for an interview. This shit's fucking like
Yeah,
really dark. And it was like like drug
yeah.
overdose episode and shit. So that shit was fucked up. But yeah,
So deep.
yeah, and I ate a lot, so I'm chill now.
Yeah, food's always a good comfort to kind of help you through whatever you're going through, you know?
But yeah, to answer your question, like, yeah, no, like I'll tell Barf, I'll be like, yeah, I had too much edibles. I'm like anxious as fuck, and he just always tells me I'm stupid, which is true because like I never learned my lesson. But like a lot of times, a lot of times, like I'll eat, like I'll have edibles and I'll be chill mad nights in a row, and I'll be fine with it. So it's like these days don't always happen, but it seems like they always happen because I never really tell him like, oh, I took an edible, I'm feeling great. Like we'll just be talking and normally then. But like if I take an edible and I'm feeling like shit, I'm gonna tell him, and then he's just like, you're stupid. But like
And
Sage too, yeah, it's like Sage. I'll go to him, and Scrooge like a lot. People in Soul Souls, like we definitely talk about stuff like when things are going wrong. Sometimes like nights like tonight, I get hella disconnected, and like usually I kind of just have to deal with it on my own because I don't really know how to talk to anyone or really want to bring anyone else in on it. But there's other times where it's like more less of like an anxiety thing, and it's more like some shit like personal. I'll talk to Sage, I'll talk to Scrooge, I'll talk to in the group in general. Sometimes, like just in the whole group for everyone to see. Sometimes it's like that. So yeah, like that's definitely how it is.
it's really good to have your friends there, to have your brothers, but I feel you on the sometimes you don't want to bother them or you got to deal with it on your own. Barf, what about you? What are some things that you do to help cope with those kind of problems?
Of what? Sadness and shit?
Yeah.
Get tattoos, bro.
Do you have a
Uh,
lot of tattoos?
I got I got a couple of them,
Yo,
and
put a light on, bro.
probably probably smoke, and I don't
Smoking
know.
lights.
Oh no, bro, I just do music, and go on with my life,
Yeah. Well, about
That's
the
the way.
edibles though,
Hmm, that's not my shit.
it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
congruence. I
bro.
can't believe you said that before the
That shit
podcast.
make me paranoid, bro. It's like, no,
What?
bro.
What, the
Everybody
edibles?
wanna.
Edibles.
Yeah, bro.
Yes.
It's like
Sage be
it
saying that
fucked up
too.
my brain.
I'm putting them on the spot. Sage be saying that too. I mean, honestly, this shit is crazy how different like the forms of consumption can hit you. Because like I could be smoking like all like the reason I got edibles again is because I've been smoking all night like the last like week, and it really just hasn't been. I haven't been sleeping well. It hasn't been going like to like it just hasn't. It wasn't doing the same shit as when I was taking gummies like every night. So tonight I got like this cool ass like chocolate bar, like
Okay.
a white chocolate birthday cake sprinkle shit. It just sounded good, and I was like a low dose too. I just took one square, and like next thing you know, I'm like, all right, I'm like laying I'm like I gotta leave like charge my phone. I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, okay, it feels like I'm not in my body right now. And I'm talking to Sage. I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta get food because I hadn't eaten shit. So I just dropped a bag on some like new restaurant that was in the area, and I was like, I can't go anywhere, so I'm gonna get it delivered. So it's just like, yeah, that kind of calmed me down. But like, I don't know, like I've been doing better lately, but there's a lot of days like this, so it's like I'm not like as scared of by it as I used to be. I get paranoid as fuck, but like it's not gonna be like leading me to a panic attack anymore, which is good. It's more just like I'm like, oh fuck this shit again. Like I know I'm gonna feel like shit for a few hours, but it's not like back in the day. I used to just straight up go into like a full on panic attack, and that shit's that's a different level. So
You know what helps a lot? I don't know if you guys tried it. Is cold water, like taking a cold shower. Have you guys tried that?
I I love to take cold showers in general because I feel like it I was talking about this with someone else recently like well it's because like in the past bleaching my hair and stuff they tell you to wash your hair with cold water, but in general you're supposed to wash your hair with cold water just because it locks in the hair follicles and shit.
Yeah.
And then another thing for your immune system, it's good too if you if you turn the water really cold, even if it's just for like 10-15 second bursts, like a couple times, which is what I do.
Yeah.
That shit, your body is so used to the comfort of a hot shower, like throwing it into that almost like into shock, like that kind of gives you it builds up your immune system. I don't know the exact science behind it, but in general I feel like a cold shower does refresh me, and it does kind of put me on the come down and shit. But like it's I mean, at night I usually don't have the luxury to be able to do that, and that's often times where I'm at my like darkest mental states. Take off the
Right.
beanie. No, I'm not taking the beanie off. Shut the fuck up, Sid.
Cold, cold water helps to long hair too. Like hot water destroy your fucking hair. So if you have
Yeah,
a long
Damn.
hair, sage no. That's why I say cold water are the best. Like cold
yeah.
shower.
Any like thinning hair, like dyed hair, like long hair that needs maintenance and all that shit. Yeah, hot water. It actually, I think it closes off the hair particle. I don't know why. Like, it's funny that this is what we're talking about in the beginning of the interview, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's facts though. In case the people don't know, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people in the scene and shit be having crazy hair and shit. So if they're taking hot showers, turn that shit cold before you fry your hair.
Something about cold water, dog. Or even you guys try putting like ice cubes in your bong?
Yeah. I've done that sometimes, and I don't know, like the stuff with like putting stuff in bongs that are like other I mean I've smoked out of like those like ice percolator bongs, you know those ones.
Yeah.
those are definitely cool. They like, I mean, literally like no pun intended, those shits are cool. But like just in general, like a nice glass of cold water. I could probably go for one right now. I don't have shit with me, and I'm not leaving, so I'm just gonna stay here dehydrated. But yeah.
All right. So for the viewers watching, for the viewers that are gonna watch, we've had an interview with you, Congruence, before. You're an artist, you're a rapper, you're a singer. Is there anything else I'm leaving out?
Um, I kind of like shut up. But I kind of like I kind of like to see myself in general just as an artist. Like I'm always, you know, creating. Like I play some instruments on the side, and you know, I also you know, with my music videos, I tend to have a heavy hand in directing what's going to be going on, and you know, so like I consider myself kind of like a semi-director when it comes to that stuff. And I've you know, like Sage was saying in his interview with you, I've always kind of wanted to, you know, go beyond music, and I've had ideas for whole ass movies and TV shows, and all, since I was a kid, you know, I've been like
Mm.
writing shit like that, like writing stories out and like writing like song lyrics like at a young age, and I think that's kind of like it always kind of like it slipped away, but it eventually came back, and you know, I think the early signs of it were there that I was gonna end up being a musician. So
And true artists, we definitely got to go back on that and touch on that.
for sure,
Um, with Bart, for all the viewers, tell me exactly what is it you do. I do know you're a producer, but go ahead and tell us what exactly you do.
I just made cool music in an old ass PC from when I was 6 years old, and that's it. I'm just crazy ass.
he's DJ.
Can I say bad words here?
Yes, most definitely.
I'm just a crazy ass speak.
Yeah, yeah. Talk your talk.
How
Hell
many?
yeah, bro.
What are we like 5 minutes in, and that's the first time we dropped it? Shit.
Yeah, bro. I had to. I had to.
I mean, I knew it was coming, but I didn't think it'd be that quick. Damn.
And I didn't start when I was young. When I was a kid, I never had like that like craziness for music. Like it just popped off once when I was 12, and I was like, oh shit, this is cool. And I started with EDM, and then I was like, oh shit, this EDM is in the industry is not for me. It's too toxic for me. And
Yeah.
then I moved to trap scene where I meet Chevy.
Dang. That's where you met Chevy?
Yeah, he actually helped me. Helped me with my first trap song. We made together called "Heroin in My Veins,"
Oh, wow.
and then until here.
Heroin in my veins. Is that song still
Yeah,
available?
yeah, you can look up.
Dang. Okay, so Heroin in My Veins was the first song you and Chevy clicked up and he helped you through that?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. So how long have you known Chevy?
"Heroin in My Veins" will be 2 years and a half, probably. I was 15 when I met him.
When you met Chevy?
Yeah.
Uh, little side note, have y'all spoke to Chevy? How's he doing?
I spoke to him more recently. He's doing better. He's just sorting out some personal stuff. And you know, the general consensus from him is that, you know, he's telling me he's still very into the music we've created. It's just like he doesn't have much of a social presence, as you can see, but he, you know, he tells me he's still listening to all our music, all the Soul Souls music and stuff. He popped briefly into the group chat maybe like a week or so ago, and he just got a lot of personal stuff he's dealing with right now, and you know, we weren't quite sure how that was going to go down with the album, and the timing wasn't good for anyone, but you know, I do expect him to be back. I don't want to put pressure on it by saying it on the spot, but I got the impression from him that music will always be a part of his life in some way. It's just that right now, he seems to be doing better mentally, but you know, it is what it is. Everyone in the group is kind of pretty transparent with stuff. It's just like everyone deals with stuff in their own way and stuff. So
For sure. Shelby, if you're watching, we miss you and can't wait for you to come back. Take your time.
for
Do
sure,
what
for
you
sure.
gotta do. Barf, now, when did you meet Congruence? How did that come about? What do you
Oh
think about him?
shit. Yo, Congress, can I talk everything with no filter, no nothing? Like for real, how the things did go?
Well, it depends. Like, what are you referring to? Like
Lately,
the yeah, go ahead.
I, Congruence was manager of a guy called Lazy back in the day, and he was in Soul Souls for a long time, and once he had a Congruence to the group, but everybody says that Strush at him because he was the admin, so yeah, he basically got him. But I had a problem with Lacey. We had an argument, and everything did go crazy, like
Oh man.
everything. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk to this guy, Congruence. His music is cool, but this manager of this fucking
I didn't even know
stupid
this. What
ass
the
boy.
fuck?
But it's manager of this stupid ass boy. Maybe it's like him. I don't know, bro. And I was like, fuck it, bro. I need somebody to do the remix of Never Change. So I was like, yo, bro. And we started talking. When we meet, February, January.
Yeah, like it might have even no, it was definitely January or a little bit after that.
Yeah,
Maybe December, something around there. Definitely not earlier than December. Probably January from what I can remember.
yeah. I was scared. I was like, oh, bro, come on. I hope this guy is not the same guy he started.
But he wasn't though, huh?
No, no, no.
Yo, so that's crazy. Congruence, are you still in talks with Lazy? Or are you done with
Nah,
him?
nah, I'm all set. I'll just I'm feeling pretty unfiltered myself tonight. Working with him was not ideal. It was a nightmare, and it's I'm the type of person to always see the backstory of what someone's gone through and try to give some people some credit. So I saw in him, I saw an artist who had immense talent, and I wasn't in the best mental state at the time, but I was in another group. Um, wasn't really a collective because there wasn't really anyone making music besides a few of us. And to be honest, Sick Boy, who, from Sold Souls, he was one of the only people in that group that him and me were the only two from that group who made it over to Sold Souls, other than Lazy was in the originals group that we had for Sold Souls, which is a different name. So
Oh, wow.
no one else was from that group. But when I was in that group, there was one time I was just feeling low, and I gave Lazy some feedback on an EP, and I I was telling him it wasn't that great, but he could do better, and I kind of motivated him, pushed him, and he um yeah, he basically was just really hard to work with, and he didn't he would tell me he appreciated the stuff I was doing, but it was never enough. And I was working with a label, and the guy I was working with on the label as well really didn't fucking he was really he wasn't the type to handle business. He was the type to act like he was handling business, but I was the one handling the business. And I was going through. I want to be transparent as fuck. I was going through a breakup, and I'm 6 days into a breakup with a long term relationship, and I had a breakdown. I drove 3 hours up north, to Vermont. I just drove up there, and that day it was a single release for Lazy, and I pulled through, and I did what I had to do. My business partner was fucking ghost out partying and shit. So it's for a long period of my life, not long. It wasn't that long, but it did feel long. I was working on something. I was getting, as a manager, I feel like I did what I could. I mean, I got this dude multiple songs over 20,000, one over 50,000 streams. And, I was sending fans his way. He just wasn't capitalizing on it. And I do believe he was trying, but there's just like as much as I've tried to defend him for so long, there's multiple people in the group that he owes shit to, and what ended it and what really cut it off for me was when
One is here.
yeah, and like two, like honestly, and like basically like he him and like not to just throw it all out. I'm just throwing it all out there. Like he offered some free cover arts as a promotional thing. I think he did one for Sage. But Barf was one of the first five people to answer. So, you know, it's like that's the lottery, you know, that's how it works. For one of the first five, if you're posting a thing about the first five people to post on your comment on your post, and like those people will get featured in your story, you're gonna post those five people because you're a man of your word. Barf hit him up for the cover art that he was promised, and he said, "No, I can't do that now. I need money." And when that went down, there was a little squabble between the two of them, and when it got to the point where I had to protect my energy. I had lazy in my like in my general messages, not in my main messages, because I had him on mute. I didn't want to hear it, and like I eventually opened it up, and he was sending me this big message about Barf being immature and me being immature if I sided with Barf in this situation, and I just blocked him. And since then, a couple people in the group every once in a while. Like I think some people maybe still follow him or have him unblocked, and they'll be like sending me like they'll bring it up and shit. I personally don't like. I'm bringing it up just so the story's out there and the story's clear. But other than that, like I hate talking about it, and I just think that it's holding the whole group back anytime that name's brought up. To be honest,
Damn, dog. Hey,
Yeah,
good riddance, bro.
we
yeah. I mean,
had to let out that shit.
Yeah, it's released now, bro.
I
Waste
mean,
of potential.
I'll say this: like I heard a lot of unreleased stuff from him that I feel like he scrapped. That you know, I'm not the type to wish anything ill on anyone. Some other people approach it a little bit colder than me. I hope that he finds some sort of peace and he can pull it together and he can, you know, get his music out there. I'm still like that. I'm really just like that type of person, even if I've been wronged, you know. So I hope he does because some of those songs were bangers and like if he can pull it together, he can pull it together. But yeah, that's my view, and I know that Barf and other people aren't going to share my view on that because it was a little bit different. But I mean, honestly, I should feel a worse type of way about it, and I don't. But it's just because I moved on past it, all like the shady ass shit that happened, you know. So
Dang, bro. Hey, man. That's really big. That's big ups to you to have that kind of mindset. But man, if you like you said, if you're not a man to your word, how am I gonna trust you?
oh
I'm
no,
gonna
that
trust you in the future with money, with the arts, with anything.
yeah, definitely not. And like as a businessman, I'm like doing what I need to make sure that everything is in order with what I put into the promotion and what I'm getting back out. I'm just gonna put it that way. Like I'm making sure that everything kind of evens out, and some of the shit that I had to deal with, you know, comes back my way. So I have that covered, and you know, I think I learned a lot of lessons about protecting my energy. Shout out like my friend Kate, and shout out my sister for being the ones to like be like you got to protect your energy at all costs, and like even if you feel like you're like you need to be like you're this person who feels the need to help people out when they're at their lowest, like if they're draining you to the point where you can't even like you're shaking and you're fucked up and you feel mentally fucked up and you gotta take drugs to escape. I just needed to hear it from some really like people who really are like have huge hearts for them to tell me it's okay to cut people off. I'm like, you know, that was the point where I'm like, all right, you know, I'm ready to draw that boundary for my own sanity, basically.
Damn, bro. And it's tough, y'all, right? Like, damn, I thought I could trust this person. This person was part of the crew, you know?
I guess
It's
I was the one who got duped the most. Like most people, like well, I mean, like Barf definitely had some issue with him from the start. Some of the other people kind of like went through similar things with me. Like they were, you know, like Sage said, like he was giving them the benefit of the doubt as well, and like you just expect that in this scene because not too many people are gonna bring that type of toxic energy. We did have another artist who brought some really toxic energy into the chat. We dealt with that real quick as well, but for the most part, it's like 8 out of 10. It's eight or 9 out of 10 people we're gonna bring in is gonna be someone that it's gonna be at least a decent person, and that like a lot of that comes down to Scrooge, but it sometimes someone else will be like, hey, can we bring this person in? And we bring them in, and like that's kind of what happened with Chevy and stuff. So it's cool how it goes.
It's true though, dog. Like statistics show, like if you have 10 folks around you, at least one of them's a snake. You know, it's
Maybe even more, but like that's why we're so particular with
For
who
real.
we let in.
damn. Okay, so what's so wild is you guys said you guys clicked up in January of this year.
It sounds right because I think like
Yeah.
looking through the files, I think they're like the early.
Maybe at the end of that month, but yeah.
I want to say like the 19th because I feel like when I've been looking through the emails to find like the original files and stuff, like I think the first remix file that got sent to me, like the open file, I think that got sent around like mid to late January. So that was around the time we were like we linked up in the chat and like I explained on the last podcast when I was with Chevy that like um I my original judging a book by its cover, seeing the Barf Keller, seeing the fucking weird ass picture he had of the fucking DJ like with the distorted face. I was like,
YouTuber, bro.
I didn't want to open that. I didn't want to open his DM. I was like, I don't know. This dude seems
Uh,
kind of crazy, and like
I am.
he is kind of crazy, but in a good way. Like not in the way I thought. I thought he was like. I'm like, this dude's fucked up. Like I can't fuck with this kind of guy. Like this is gonna be
Crackhead.
so
Crackhead.
it's funny. It's funny because he I didn't know he said that shit like or thought that shit about me because of my association with Lazy. But
Yeah.
now that I think about it, going into it, I kind of had this perception that like, oh shit, I'm just gonna be dealing with another like weird like crazy person. So like I don't want to do it. But then I heard, ironically enough, I heard from Lazy that one of the songs that he had with Scrooge that never came out was produced. He's like, oh, it's produced by this Donny Buff, and like I was like, is it that dude Barf Keller from the chat that I just got added to? He's like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, wait, why didn't you like tell me this before? And I listened to the like I love that song and like Scrooge really killed it on that song especially. And the beat is fucking crazy. It changed up like what 3 times, Bar?
Yeah, three.
Yeah. So like that beat was so crazy, and I'm like, oh, I always loved that beat. And like as soon as I heard that he's the one who made that beat, so I opened the open up like you know opened the email and shit, and I heard that's when I first heard Chevy's voice and his mixing skills, and I heard Johnny Kuntz on the first verse, and I'm like, yeah, I need to tap in. And around that time, I was doing some features, and I was in feature mode in between albums and releases, and like I found this cadence and flow that I was following, and I'm like, I can follow this for the whole verse basically, and I changed it up a little bit at the end, but like it just came together so smoothly. And the mixing process was kind of strange. We just recently remembered. I don't know if Barf always remembered, but we just recently remembered that Barf was the one who um, mixed my vocals on that track, and the rest of the songs Chevy mixed the vocals for me. But
Yeah, cause Chevy was off.
it,
Was
it what was it?
was like now.
Oh, he wasn't there at that time.
Yeah. When he came back, I remember I had the whole song done, like the whole remix done.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even remember that. I just know that I remember being like, okay, yeah, he's got a good voice. He's got a really good, like, Barf told me that he mixed his own vocals and Johnny mixed his own vocals. And I was like, yeah, like, that's just like a really smooth voice. But I wasn't really ready to see, or like, I didn't know how talented he was. I was like, yeah, that's like a really catchy hook. Like, lyrically, I wasn't impressed at first, but now it takes on a different meaning. And then obviously, once that we started to collaborate a little bit more, I feel like we all kind of stepped up together. And at that point, my respect for him as an artist like went from already being impressed to just being like influenced. You know what I mean? So
What's so wild is you guys met in January, give or take, but y'all seem like you've known each other for years. Do you guys see that? Do you guys have that similarity thought with the energy? Because y'all have good energy together.
yeah, I
Uh,
don't. Nah, yeah, I think so for sure. I think like the one night that like really describes it well. I mean, there's a lot. Like we talk. I don't really think there's been many days where we haven't had some sort of conversation since we met. But like, um, there was just one time where I probably like around June maybe. I was supposed to go to someone's house. We I guess we could get into that story if we want. It's so irrelevant, but it's mad funny. But I'm not gonna do it right now. But maybe if Barf wants me to, I will. But I was supposed to go to some girl's house, and like I ended up not being able to go, and I was like, oh, I was gonna do mushrooms anyway, so I did mushrooms, and I was usually I stay away from my phone for the bulk of the trip, but I was kind of just chilling, and I was listening to the album because the album was done, like Go was done at that time. And I was listening to it. I sent some videos to him, and Chevy was still like active back then. I sent them a video of me listening to it. I looked like a fucking madman because I was like having an out of body experience listening to that shit. And then Barf and I were talking like the whole night, and like yeah, just the conversations we have. Yeah, it does feel like it's been a lot longer that we've known each other. It's really like we got the same like not always, but we have a sense of humor and like a sense of communication that's like kind of our own way of talking to each other. And like the way he talks, first of all, his English is better than some people, like a lot of the people that I know on here who can't type shit. Like this dude has crazy good English skills, and like my Spanish sucks. He'll always tell me that, but like but yeah, no, like him and I, like that night, I remember specifically because I was so like, I'm tripping and shit, and he was showing me like some like some juice, a couple big Juice World songs that kind of came out that I was sleeping on. Like I'm a really big Juice World fan, but like Barf is like literally probably the biggest Juice World fan I know, and like I'm just like I'm there, but like Barf's been following like all the stuff that's been going on, and he's keeping me in the loop on that because I don't have as much time with it. But yeah, like um, where was I going with that?
On mushrooms talking to
Yeah,
Bart.
so he showed me like Six Kiss,
release.
yeah, like Trippie Red and YNW Melly and Juice, and I heard that for the first time on shrooms, and like I was addicted to that for a long time, and then we were just talking in general, and, like joking, mad jokes. I was laughing the whole fucking night, and that's just like not all of our conversations are gonna be like that, but
Yeah.
you know, a lot of them are a bit fucking ridiculous and insane, like. A lot of inside jokes, a lot of little things that we got going on, and a lot of music too. So it's cool. I definitely feel like it's been a lot longer every time we know each other.
Bart, with you giving him those musics and new songs and whatnot, you did bring up that you started off doing the EDM and then you transitioned.
Yeah.
What's some of the music influences that helped you?
Well, I really appreciate the Juice songs and Juice discipline,
Hmm.
because uh, I was like, I remember once I was so frustrated with everything, like when I changed from EDM to trap, because I was making pure shit, like for real, like beats, like horrible beats, and I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm not for it. And I was frustrated because I dropped out of school to make music, and I was like, oh shit, what I'm gonna do now? So I was like, uh, then I mean then came out pop out Juice WRLD, and
Hmm.
I start going into his music and his life, and it was like he recorded like 3 4 songs a day, freestyle everything, and I was like, yo, bro, I have to make something like this, but with my beats. So I was like throwing a bunch of drums and melodies into a project, and I started doing some shit, and then I was doing better, and then I meet Chevy, and then the rest is history.
Dang, dude. Okay, so Go, the tape. It's your first official tape, right?
Yeah, I dropped an EP in April of this year called 420 with Chevy and my cousin, but it's an EP, not tape, you know.
So why Congruence and Young Chevy? Why did you choose them too?
Cause we
He
match energy in music, like
he didn't choose that.
no, no, but it's like we made a lot of songs that when we realized it, bro, it was like, bro, we made like fucking 15 songs, bro. What we can drop like one singles and singles and singles. We have to make something with this, like uh,
Yeah.
we we have to make an album or a couple of EPs or something. No, like drop it as a single. So then the idea of an album came
Oh,
like
dang.
pop.
What I recall is that around there was a little bit of overlap with like some of the label drama and Barf and I and Chevy getting involved. So Barf and I were talking, and after the Never Change remix, I honestly don't remember what the next song we made was. It might have been like the Benzo remix or something. I feel
Yeah,
like, or Don't Call
yeah,
Me, one of those two. But we made another song because Chevy, he was very happy with what I contributed. We started to get to know each other as well. So like, we started talking about that, and then at one point, Barf was sending me a lot of beats because I really liked the Never Change beat, and I was excited about the prospect of working with someone who, you know, like isn't just like a YouTube producer that you never talk to. Like I got someone who's like, there's always been artists who sent me, hey, I got beats for you, and like shout out like Beats by Sutton. He's from my state. He's kind of out of the music game now, but like he commented on my post about my retirement and shit. Like shout out to him because I did work with him and he was always a genuine person. And like there was a couple other producers who like their music maybe didn't match up with my style, but I worked with them. I didn't work with them, but I respected them. But when I got that Never Change beat from Barf, I started instantly asking him for more like wavy type beats and being like, we can definitely do something. And at that time, I was still running the label, and I was convinced that, everything in theory with the label sounded like it was going to actually work out pretty well, to the point where I was like, I'm starting to, my friend or like my partner at the time had like the artist he wanted to sign, and I was like, you know what, I want Barf on the label, and I think that he should have like an album kind of like along the lines of like Mike Will made it when he had like an album featuring a bunch of artists. And that's what it started with. It was like the idea wasn't for it, like he wanted Barf wanted Chevy on every track, and that was the original idea. And then I was like, yeah, maybe we can have some, like we could have some song, like he was working on some stuff I believe with Sick Boy, and like we were gonna have like a few different features in Wonderland that we were talking about having some features on there, but things that never really go as quite as planned. So as we started working, most of the process that I remember would be like a beat gets sent to both of us, Chevy and I, from Barf. Either Chevy laid down a hook really quickly and sent it to me, or sent it to both of us, and we see like we fuck with it, and I laid down my stuff, or in the case of like I think it was mostly like that, but like Dutch and maybe like a couple others, I think like definitely Dutch though. Like I laid down my parts first and I sent that to Chevy, and that's the one that like infamously he cooked up that verse in like 5 minutes and like came back and showed us, and we're like, damn, this song is like it's fucking crazy. But other than that, like there's also some songs like Come Down, like that one we kind of that was probably the one that we created the most together because it was basically like we had the beat. I remember we weren't going to use the beat because I just was kind of throwing beats at Chevy that I thought I could work with too. And like we weren't gonna use the come down beat, but I listened to it again and I'm like, one day it just hit me. I'm like, we could use that beat. And Chevy was kind of humming a melody and that was like one of the only ones where I was like, I kind of helped him with the lyrics on that hook, and then I just wrote my parts on that because I just felt really strongly about the feeling and the vibe of that song, and like I just had these visuals, and like still one of my favorite vocal performances to this day. But we did that one really over a video call, and like a lot of the process was like that. It was over Skype or over a video call here, and just that way. Skype was cool because you could see what Chevy was doing with the mix, and I could kind of give feedback on it. And then Barf ended up being the one to master all the tracks as well. So like everything happened within the group, which is super cool.
Okay, so this album wasn't even made to be an album. You guys were just recording songs, and we realized you had a bunch in a vault, and they decided to make an album out of it.
I don't remember exactly when. Barf, do you remember when? I know there was
Uh,
like a couple songs, and I think I threw the idea out. Like there was like an unofficial contract with the label that Barf was gonna release an album. So I think it happened kind of early on.
yeah, cause it was like there was the contract at first, and then the contract got a void, and then was like a bunch of songs there, and I was like, we have to make something like even up the contract, we have to release that shit, you know.
Dang. So, which label are you guys talking about?
That was the one that I had. Like it was called Scale Clarity Records. It wasn't really like it was registered as a business, and like eventually had a website that took way too long to go. And like that's again like something that, again I'm not gonna hold any grudges or anything and shit. But like that was someone, especially since that was someone I was friends with for a long time, longer than anyone in the group or anything like that. Like since the beginning, him and I were mutual supporters, but like my business partner. And I kind of always had the idea in my head that I wanted a collective of some sort or like a smaller group, and I had people in mind that who were supporting me from the beginning. Like the Bat Kings, for example, was one of those artists that we linked up right from the start, like from SoundCloud, and like there was a girl that I had a falling out with, but her and I were talking a lot, and I always pictured her being a part of it, and like just like so the idea kind of existed in me that there would be like a collective or a label type thing. And then he presented me with that idea, had some artists in mind, and we started to take it seriously. But again, I was going through some pretty tough shit. I was going through like some withdrawals and stuff, and I was going through a fresh breakup, and way too much of the workload was put on me. And my homie was like acting like, oh, like I'm gonna be taking care of this and that, like down the line, it's gonna balance itself out. I just need to take care of like this essay I have to do, and it was just like all this shit on my shoulders, bro. And like I really was breaking down. I was at my lowest at that point, but some good things did really come out of that, like especially afterwards, this album and some other stuff that I worked on. It wouldn't necessarily have come out as passionate if it wasn't for the fact that, like, I mean, I'll even use the breakup as an example. Like, I had that going on, and Barf and Chevy both had other unrelated stuff going on in their life. But this creation of this album, these video calls that we had, were a way for us all to kind of escape our home lives and dive into a project that we had a lot of passion for and a lot of energy for. And luckily, that a lot of times was putting us in a space where we were distracted, and we just wanted to continue making music and continue and continue. We couldn't stop because we had such a great workflow and stuff. So I think once the album was locked in and we decided that it was kind of mastered and wrapped up, I think all of us experienced something weird, not just like, not just Chevy. It was just like all of us experienced, I mean, Barf could speak on it too, but like all of us experienced something where we were such in the flow of making music. So when we stopped that to like focus on like how we're gonna promote it, it felt a little bit not natural, and then like it kind of like threw off
For real.
the flow of everything, you know,
Damn, that's too bad. How are you guys feeling right now about it though?
about like the album.
Yeah, go.
I still listen to it all the time, and I love it. It's like a lot. My opinion on the Chevy situation is I'm just frustrated at how unfair the universe can be at sometimes, and like I wish he was, you know, there with us during the whole process of like the release of it and shit. But we kind of realized what was going down. Like we kind of realized it wasn't going to be like that. So Barf and I still enjoyed it as much as we could, and we're like, I still listen to it a lot. I still feel like it's my most complete project that I'm a part of, and I still can listen to it and like just hear what Chevy did on it and what we all did on it and be super proud of it. That's my feelings on it.
Barf, Congruence. I want to say this one thing. The tape is fire. From the beginning to the end, all you guys doing your thing, the beat making, the singing, the rapping. I feel like it's gonna continue to keep growing. I don't think it's gonna get stuck. I don't think it's gonna be underrated. I think it's still gonna keep going because it's a great tape. Now, with that being said, both Barf and you, Congruence, which one's your favorite track? If you can't pick your favorite track off the tape.
That no doubt, that's my favorite one. And the second one is Don't Call Me, and then maybe Millie.
Oh yeah,
Okay, okay.
for sure.
He was real prepared for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For me, it's kind of varied. For a long time, it was like Come Down because like you have to go back to like one of my very first song releases to hear me sing like that. And I gotta give credit to Chevy because he was the one who like he was starting to say to me at one point, he was like, I'm not having to use as much like pitch correction in your voice. You're starting to hit the notes really well. And that gave me the confidence to sing with a
Dang.
little bit more power. So on when I went to do that song, I kind of just sang it in a lower register where I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I did it, and like he mixed it, and it just like him his vocal mixing with my vocals is like peanut butter and jelly, man. It's just it.
Yeah.
I knew I was always in good hands. Every once in a while, I would need him to tweak something, but you know, not that often. So like for me, Come Down was my favorite for a long time, and then I think if I had to pick one song that like is gets me the most hyped, I still think No Time is going to be the one because it's funny because I only have one verse on it, but to me like it's one of one of my most memorable verses, and I love the hook on that. I think it's one of the most like mainstream accessible hooks, and like I love Chevy's verse on it, and then like kind of like Barf said, Dutch and definitely Millie obviously holds a special place in my heart because that's like my solo song, and like that beat is fucking crazy. Like not a lot of people know because someone asked me today. I think someone from Soul Souls, maybe Immense said, was that me in the background of the beat, like with the low pitched vocals, but it's actually Trippy Red. So Barf
What?
I
sampled
sampled.
that. Yeah.
Dang, that's cool though. That's cool though that you sampled that.
Yeah, so when I heard that song, like I heard that beat, and he had named it something specific that kind of inspired the.
Yeah, don't talk about
No,
that.
it just
No,
yeah, yeah. It inspired the direction of the song for me, and you know that I feel like my vocal performance on that and the mix on that is really strong too. So I guess those are my top three. But I really feel like there's no weak spot on there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of every style on there too. Like Smoke Sesh is a real chill song, and like
Oh yeah.
the
Smoke that.
the last thing I want to say about that specific thing is that I've always been obsessed with the sequencing of the tracks, like the track order, and we all kind of knew that Never Change was going to be the first song. But as everything else came together, I got really obsessed with it. And I'm not gonna spell it out for everyone because I don't like when artists do that. But I'm just gonna say that I intentionally said, hey, let's put the tracks in this order because it'll tell a story. And if you listen closely and you look at the order of the songs, there is a kind of story arc that goes like this, and it takes some looking into and some focus on the themes and the types of songs and the genres that we kind of go between. But there is that there, at least in my view of it.
I would say so too. I think you did a good job on that. But is that why you
Appreciate
put
it.
the remix at the end of the track listing?
Well, the Never Change was also a remix, and that was the first song. And then Benzo as the last song, to be honest, that was also a remix. But I think the reason that was the last song was because we were kind of looking. I always kind of look for what's a good closing song. Like what to me, what makes a good closing song is something that like is kind of like a little, especially on an album like this, where it's like it starts off a little bit more hype and then it goes into a little bit more sadder of an album. I'm like, we want to end on a emotional, sad note, but also like we're not gonna end it on Millie, like a solo song by me. Like it has to be a song we're all on. So
Yeah.
I I think it just made sense to do Benzo, and like the way that guitar kind of fades out. I think it just kind of hit us to like that would be a really nice way for the album to come to an end. And I remember when I did my listen, when I was listening on Mushrooms, like I heard the end of that, and like I was like, the guitar sounds like it stops abruptly, and I actually really like that because it's like it feels like the song's about to go on forever, and that riff, like and that loop sounds so beautiful, then it just suddenly like just ends, and then that's it, and that's the album, you know.
Damn, dog. I love it. 'Cause for you guys to start with Never Change, yo, that's ballsy, bro. Big props to you on
Why do
that
you
one.
why do you say that?
Because like that's like the main to me, that's like the first single, right? That was the first single.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like artists don't ever use their first single as the first track. You know what I mean? Like that's a big move.
I'm typically against it myself. I'm typically against like releasing. I think it's worse to release the closer as the first single, because like that's like usually
Right.
a special track. I think it's more common for artists to release the first song. I try to avoid it if I can, but in this case, it wasn't a big deal because like ultimately we released four singles and there was 11 songs, so it's like four songs were going to be out, and we knew that on release day people would have seven new songs to listen to, which is basically like a whole album in itself. So
For real, for real. Now, Barf. Now I only know a little bit on how you do your craft. I gotta give you big props on how you get it done, especially when the music is that beautiful. Two of my favorite tracks, two beats from the tape, was Dutch and Zen. Now, can you go ahead
yeah.
and talk about that, the thought process, and when you're making beats like that?
Those two songs, I to be honest, it's crazy this because now it's my favorite song from the album. But I used to hate the beat of Dutch.
No way.
I was like, I was so mad the day I made that beat. I was like, oh, this fucking shit is not, didn't went how I wanted. And cause I fucked up, and you can hear it
No way.
in when Chevy say, "I swear to God, I keep on going. You know we can get enough." In that part, cause the the clap was like off from the beat, and I wanted to be on the beat, but it was too late when I realized that,
Oh, dang.
and I was like, this shit, I'ma send them, and maybe later I can fix that. And they was like, no, bro, this beat, and then
Yo.
wait,
that happened.
are you saying it never got fixed?
No,
Dang, bro.
the song is crazy, bro. If I didn't tell you,
Yeah.
you probably never heard that shit.
No.
But
Yeah,
now we
that's
heard that shit.
that's a musician thing. Yeah, like when
Uh,
you're the one making the song and shit. Like you know, when
Yeah.
I was back when I played
yeah,
guitar and stuff, it's like if you mess up playing something little, like maybe no one else will notice, but you're gonna notice that shit because like you want to be perfect with it.
For real.
and then Zen, I made that shit from with guitars from Nick Mira, the producer of Juice WRLD,
Dang, no
and
kidding.
No. And I think it was quick because when you vibing with something in music, it's like, oh shit, this shit, you have everything in mind and you just have to flow with your mind, to do it. Maybe sometimes even your hands and your PC don't help because it's like you're going too slow. So it's like you just vibing and you go quick. And I made that beat like in 1 hour, I guess.
Dang, no way.
Mix and
Big props, dog. Big props. Congrats. What do you think about Barf as a producer, as a beat maker?
He's like one of the more. I mean, I don't know if you can really name anyone, and especially in the underground scene, who's any like more versatile than him. Like the thing about him is like, obviously, even just on the album, you got wavy beats like I mean Never Change and Dutch are both wavy like swag type beats, but they're two even those two beats are kind of hella different. And then you got Light It Up. That's a really weird beat in my opinion. Like it just kind of like I can't really place like what kind of genre that is, even the song itself. So like my verses are like kind of like it's just weird. Like it's bars, but it's like really a weird melody. And then Smoke Sesh is kind of like a more chill, like almost like cloud rap type beat. And then you got like Come Down, which he doesn't classify as like a poppy type beat, but we kind of turned it into a pop song. And then you got the melodic, like more like Nick Beer, Juice World type stuff. But then beyond that, he sent me a ton of beats that are like hard dark trap beats. He can do boom bap. He can do he wants to do some punk shit, like he can do. And like I got to give credit too when I'm like there's certain times where I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this certain style, like I kind of want to do something like this. And sometimes he'll just be like no, but usually like sometimes I'll be like for example, like I was working on a project with someone, and we were looking for a certain style of beat. We kind of gave some references, and he sent us something over. It was just it was spot on. So like he's the type who can cook that type of shit up. So I think as he can speak on this too because he's kind of
oh, in that shit that you asked for with the other artists, that was my first time trying that style.
what I'm trying to think which like oh yeah, no, I know what you're
the,
talking
the
about,
UK shit.
like the future shit and like Young Thug.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it came
yeah.
out came out amazing. So that'll be out eventually, but the other thing is yeah, so like I don't know like if Barf wants to expand on this, but like he's kind of branching out with his beat making, and like he just made some big moves with that maybe he wants to talk about. But um his versatility within that, the ability to make beats and kind of do stuff, I think will work really well if anyone's going to be wanting to work on some custom stuff and getting some custom stuff from him. I think he's the man to go to for that because he can kind of make what you need, but he also puts his own creative spin on it that's always going to take it to the next level.
Big us, Barf. Barf. Now, let's say the artists contact you that you never heard of. Like, how frequently are you gonna work with different artists that you don't even know? Or are you gonna stick with the team?
I just work with people that are like that give me good vibes. You know,
Yeah.
like I talk and I knew and I had met a lot of shitty people and a lot of good people. And at this point, I can feel who is who. Like, I can feel how a person is with just a few moments.
Hmm.
And I think I'm a just work with good people and people I want to. Like nobody wanna tell me, yeah, you have to work with somebody
Yeah.
and you have like no, I don't give a shit, bro. I'm just yeah. I just make music, that's it.
Facts.
I,
But
I'm
yeah,
not. I can't stick around forever to something or somebody because I'm a I'm just a person that it's like I can be quiet in a place, you know, like you feel me?
Yeah.
Like I can be in something forever. Like I have to move on because if I don't, I just get bored and probably depressed.
Damn, dog. But that's good that you can see sense the type of energy after a few minutes of meeting someone. You know, to see if you can even. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah,
that with you guys.
Congress can tell you how many times I helped him with that shit.
Yeah,
He,
bro.
yeah, he's. I mean, he might be exaggerating a little bit. Sometimes he's not always 100% right, but he does have a talent for I mean, sometimes it's kind of like I'll be in a mindset where I'm just kind of like overlooking a lot of red flags in people, which I tend to have a habit of doing. Lately, I don't do that because I learned my lesson with a couple people that I put trust into way too quickly, or like was way too trustworthy with people like instantly. Whereas like there was clearly red flags that Barf could see, but there's also other times where it's kind of been almost like spiritual, where it's like he can read someone's energy like a book, like mad fast, and before I kind of figure out what's going to happen. But there was, you know, yeah, I can count on one hand like the times that he was like, yeah, no, that person seems like they're legit, or I trust that person, and then they ended up being shady. But like, it was only because like he was going off of what he knew, and that person kind of just switched up mad fast anyway. So it's like, I agree, I can vouch for him on that. He has that crazy talent with that.
Damn. That's dope. That's dope. Now let's talk about the artwork of Go. Who did that?
You want to answer, Bar, for?
uh, like the idea of the design or who made
The artist. The artist that
the
made it.
oh yeah, it's oh no, from where is she?
I think she's
You
from.
know,
I think she's from the West Coast, like Arizona, maybe. Her name's Rox.
I don't know. But well, I found that girl in a hashtag post, you know, when you look up in the hashtag,
Yeah.
and I was like, this shitty. Oh, this interesting. I go on the profile, and I was like, oh, nah, she will share a lot. I don't know if Congress has that much money, and I was like, yo, how much you share for your work? I really love this. And she was like, uh, she responds so quick, and I was like, and we start talking, we start vibing, and she gave us a price, a good price, and then we tell her the idea.
Dang. Who came up with the idea?
Me,
He's gonna take
me,
100% credit, bro. It was
nah, nah.
it was like
I was about to tell me and other people, but who was you or Chevy?
it was mostly your idea. I'll give you that because you had like Barf had the idea for the dirt bikes and like having us in it and like having the cartoon and like
We matched those with the desert in the background, bro. Was like
Yeah.
crazy. I have that
yeah,
vibe in my mind. And then
yeah.
this motherfucker say, we should put the desert in the background. It was like this motherfucker read my mind.
Dang, that's wild.
And then we all kind of like collaborated on like the like what colors, like okay, what we should do different colors to match it up with the background, and then like
Yeah, that, and the bikes and the ourselves in the hardware was work of each other. Like Chevy did his shit, Congren did his shit. Did my shit, you know.
yeah, and like I just wanted to say Rox was amazing to work with. She was like
For
really
real. Yeah.
really patient. She was thoughtful and like she was really willing to make sure that like we were happy with what she had done. Like that shit was originally hand drawn, sketched out, and then digitized, and like it's just unbelievable. On top of that, like what really stood out to me was that at one point, um, before the art was completely done, Chevy was no longer in the chat with us talking ideas. So Barf had little details he wanted on his bike. I had little details I wanted on my bike. Chevy had his like outfit and stuff picked out, but he didn't have the details on his bike. And what she did was she went back and she found a picture of Chevy on his account from when he was a kid, and there was this little symbol on like this little like toy bike that he was riding, and she threw that on there, and she noticed he had like this emblem on his chain, and she threw that on the bike. So like that attention to detail and like that level, like that really made me feel like she really cared, and like she was, she shared it to her page, and she's got a pretty big following, and she's really into
You
like
can feel when somebody love what they do, and she really love what she do for real.
definitely.
Yo, save her on the contacts, dog, because it's a piece of art, bro. The detail is there. It's really good. I'm like looking at it right now. The smoke, it puts it out gold. The colors.
Look at my hand. Look at my hand from the artwork, and look at my real hand.
Yo, that's so badass, bro. That's so badass. Yeah, I
For
love it.
real.
10 out
There's
of
a
10.
ton of little details on everything. Yeah, like
That's why I love
She
this
she didn't put
so much.
she didn't put my neck tat because I had beer,
Oh,
and
it's clean though, dog. It's really clean. The whole thing together is a piece of work, bro. Congrats again. GG on that 10 out
appreciate
of 10.
appreciate that, man.
Yo, so Barb, what do you think about Flow Star and Bounce?
oh, I can be honest.
Yeah, be honest.
uh, uh, bro, why you didn't release Eagle Fly, bro?
Because I wanted to save that one and the other two songs for the final EP release.
Uh,
I felt like the other hype song on there, I'm not gonna say the name, is better, is a little bit better. It's similar to Bounce, but it's a little bit better. So I wanted to just come out of the gate and get Bounce out there, like just something simple and hype, and then contrast it with Flow Star, which a lot of people have been giving me a lot of good feedback on, to the point where like it actually drew me back in today to write like a almost like a part two, like based off of that style, because like I mean, I got until September 17th like to kind of like wrap up what I'm doing. So I got inspired and pulled back in today, and I wrote another song, like kind of like a part two to that. Like so, but I understand what he's saying. The song he's talking about, I performed it the other night in New York, and like my voice, I kind of was giving out, so I went a little raspy with it. The, I Barf said that was one of his favorite performances of the night, and then like for him to say that when it's not even his beat, that means something, because anytime it's not his beat, he usually doesn't like fuck with it on that same level. But I
Yeah.
really like that song. I really spazzed on. The reason I didn't release it is because it's a lot of bars versus like Bounce is just an easy to
yo,
listen, and like it's just hooks, and like Flow Star is like just like a hook, like hooky type song. There's a hook on Eagle Fly, but like it's more like there's a lot of bars and shit on that, and I was like kind of waiting to save that. So
yo, the
what up?
question was for me, not for you, motherfucker.
I'm responding to what wait.
Nah, but
You
yeah,
asked
bro.
you
Like,
you asked me a question. You asked me why I didn't release the song,
well,
so I
yeah,
answered.
but I didn't really fuck with Bones at first time I listened to that shit. But Flow Star, it's a really good song, and I really enjoy like mastering that song because Bounce was a challenge for me because it was the first time mastering a song like that, and I was like, "What the fuck I'm doing now, bro? Did, did this barely have a melody? What the fuck I'm doing now?" Like, it was crazy, but yeah, from that EP, maybe in my first place is this Eagle Fly. and then Flow Start, and then the other songs.
Yo, so you master those tracks?
Yeah, the four of them. Yeah.
There's
All, all,
there's five. There's five.
all five?
Yeah,
Oh,
So the EP got 5 tracks.
all right.
5 tracks. One, two, three, four. Yeah, 5 songs. Yeah. There's
Okay.
gonna be there's gonna be six. There was gonna be six. It was actually gonna be an album, to be honest, but uh a couple songs. These are actually originally gonna be live mixes for the Intergalactic Garden show in New York, the first one, like the 4th of July one. And Chevy was mixing them for live. It's a blessing that we decided like, oh, maybe we should throw vocals on every part, because Flowstar originally had the hook, but there was no verses. Like I was just gonna sing them live, and then he was like, yeah, maybe you should record those and I should put those on there. If we didn't do that, that I might have never like released that song until next year, or maybe never at all. So it's like I'm lucky that I was able to get that done, because I really don't want like I wouldn't want to have someone else step in and try to finish that project. Like I just really wanted to work with him on it. So I'm grateful that I have that EP with his mixes on it to release before I wrap up what I'm doing. And then Barf and I were also able to pull something else together recently within the last week that
Yeah.
working with what we have that's going to be coming soon, which is cool too.
Oh, dang. So you and Barb got something else in the works. One last thing, or
Yeah, you wanna reveal it, Barf? You want to come out and say it?
Nah, I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be soon, so
Yeah, yeah, soon, very, very soon.
coming
Like,
soon, top secret.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
For sure. So Barb mastered the tracks. Chevy did all the mixing or some mixing.
He mixed the whole EP, and then originally like I think there's only one song that's also not on that EP, but it's unreleased. There's one song I did where Chevy mixed it, and like he had for a while a lot of the mixes he was doing for other people in Soul Souls and like a few other artists he worked with outside the group. He had his like brother was doing the mastering. Um, when it came to this, that idea was thrown around, but it just like I needed the songs done within like I think 6 days. So Barf was like I could do a song a day, and the last master got sent to me Saturday morning, and like that was when I went to New York to do this show. So everything came together really well, and I'm glad that Barf was the one that mastered all the songs, and yeah, Chevy mixed them all, and like when I was listening to them on the live the other night when you were in it, like it just reminded me of how crazy of a match that mix is with my vocals and stuff. It's crazy to think that it wasn't done all in the same room, you know.
Yeah, bro. That's the thing that trips me out the most. Like, imagine you guys had everything, all the things you need, right? You guys would be even more amplified, more insane. You know what I mean?
It's a little depressing to think about because like I, in the beginning, we're trying to manifest. We're thinking about it. We're thinking about being in the same studio, cooking some shit up, and like I'm not ruling out the fact that anything's possible. Things could change at any minute. Anyone in the collective could get noticed at any point. Then that could open up doors for everyone who's been working really hard. So I'm not going to rule it out, but it's just it's in a way it was an advantage. It was really cool that we were able to do all of this over social media and put together such a crazy project, and it's such a unique story. But at the same time, like if we were in the studio and like we had input, like Barf was making
Bro.
a beat and we're like, I like where you're going with this, and then like we laid down some vocals and Chevy mixed it on the spot, that would be a whole different level.
Damn, for real, dog, for real. Now, September 17th, that's the official date for their last EP.
Yeah, I picked that date kind of going around some other small things that I was going to release like before that, and like I was kind of thinking like when am I going to release like Bounce and Flow Star, like that idea kind of came recently, and like we just released Go. It really didn't come out that long ago, so it was like
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, when can I release it? I don't want to release it too close. So I originally had something planned for September 10th. So I was like, how about the 17th? And now it's something like Juice World, part one of like his next album is gonna come on the 17th, which is kind of I'm like I'll probably be listening to that over my own EP, but like at the same at the same time, it doesn't matter much to me because my EP will be out there and people will listen to it when they get around to it. It doesn't matter to me when they listen to it as long as they do listen to it. And I think that it's I've released a couple of singles loosely before, and I've released like a 2 song EP once, but this is like a really strong set of songs. I don't think there's any weak point, and I think that they're all like kind of a level up of my previous sound and doing a couple new things. Like Bounce wouldn't be a type of song that I would have written in the past. So
Yeah, twerk, twerk, twerk. Like, dog, when you did that, bro, I was vibing, bro.
it's because I wrote it for a party and I was like specifically for that vibe. But ironically enough, I didn't even play that party. And it didn't really like when I played it in New York. They're more into like the alien type stuff, like the like that kind of style that I have. So like when I played that, I don't think that was really too many people's favorite because that's not really the vibe of that crowd of people. So it's kind of just funny in a way. But I feel like I do think that probably was my last East Coast show. Um, I would be open to doing another one, but more likely I'm gonna do like a West Coast show and try to get like maybe like an official like videographer to film that so I
Oh
can
my
get
God.
like an actual finished product with that because the live got cut off and shit. So I think like crowds like over there will fuck with that a little bit heavier, you know.
Damn, a bar. Now, because you heard the whole tape, right? The whole EP that we're gonna get on the 17th.
He, I mastered
Yeah,
those
so
songs.
you heard everything, like
Yeah,
without.
and I get tired of that shit because for my song you have to run it over and over again.
That's how it is when you're a producer, though. Like you just hear the music
Yeah, bro,
constantly.
you end up hating. If you really if you really enjoy listening music, you'll never ever go and be producer.
Yeah. What you what do you think about the RIP congruence post? Like, did you know anything about that, or was that your first time seeing that?
No, it took me by surprise, bro. Nah, I I heard some, but yeah, I didn't knew. I even was asleep when he dropped those posts. He never told me that when he was about to drop that shit. So I was like, the post took me by surprise, but I knew something about that shit.
Yo, how long did you know that this is something you wanted to do, congruence?
Um, since uh, since like I didn't know exactly how it was gonna happen, so I can't really say. But the initial ideas, like without giving away too much of what's gonna happen next, um, the initial concepts and ideas of what ended up turning into this whole rollout of like the wrapping up of it and like the headstone post and shit and this final EP, like all that stuff stemmed from seeds that were planted as early as January. So it's not like
Mm.
it's hard to describe without giving away too much detail. But it wasn't like oh I'm working on this amazing collab album, like this is all I need. I'm just gonna quit after this. It was more like more opportunities presented themselves to me, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna work on this collab album. I'm gonna keep writing, keep going through the summer, and then like there's I kind of there's a lot of stuff that I associated with my solo stuff and my persona that I crafted. I touched on it briefly in the post that I made, like that I just kind of wanted to put to rest, and I felt like I couldn't reinvent myself without like taking a step away from this. And but then again, like I said today, like I wrote a brand new song, like a new congruent song. So it's like I feel like it's really hard for me to step away from it because I listen to a ton of rap. I talk to people, and a lot of people like some people are like accepting and thanking me for what I've done and like giving them the music I have, but some people are like upset and like want me to keep going with it. So it's like it's tough, and it's also like like I kind of just want to be focused on what I'm trying to focus on in the next chapter of my life, and at the same time I just feel like I can't quite let go of what I'm doing. So like I said, like leading up to the 17th, I'm just gonna keep writing. Like I wrote the song tonight, and I'm really locked in, and I'm really getting some inspiration where I hadn't had it before. Like I always feel like I'm leveling up. So like I'm gonna try to, honestly, I'm saying it right now. You got the exclusive. I'm gonna try to write like a whole album, and maybe it won't be recorded by the 17th, but maybe eventually, I link back up with Chevy. I'm not closing the door officially. It's like, yeah, for now, and as of now, there's no plan to change it. Congruence is dead, but at the same time, I'm there's not going to be like that persona, how like um Eminem, that's a good example. Like he's got his alter egos and shit, or like it's
Yeah.
not like, and Sage, he said he had a lot of alter egos. For me, congruence in a way is like a expression of one side of myself, but like that's not necessarily who I am day to day. It's more of an exaggerated character of myself. So it's like um putting that to rest isn't that big of a deal to me, but like my involvement in the scene and in the soul souls and stuff like isn't gonna go away. It's just gonna change. That's all I can really say.
In the comment, not in your captions on that post with the tombstone, you said you think sold souls. So are you still connected? Are you still part of that, or are you out of that now?
Yeah, I mean, unless Stooge wants to kick me out, he's in here, so he can say. um, no, like I, like we, some people in the group, not everyone, but some people in the group knows what's gonna happen. But a couple of people don't. So like people are a little confused about it, but the rest of the people, Scrooge, he kind of has to know what's going on. So he knows what's gonna happen, and he's like, he knows what's up. So it's like I'm still there. Like nothing's gonna change. Obviously, there's some people in there who like want me to continue down the path that I'm going right now, and it's not an easy decision, but ultimately it's beyond music. It's a spiritual rebirth that I need to go through, and like I'm already saying too much, but yeah, it's just like
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You fucking it up.
shut it.
Right on cue, yo. Right on cue. Hey, yo, Barf.
Yeah, low key, bro, low key.
What do you think about Soul Souls?
Oh shit. I'm 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 an OG player, cause
OG, OG.
OG, bro. I mean they chat the original chat started with me, Lazy, Kill, Struce, Big Boy, and that's it. We started that shit, and was like uh oh shit. It's 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 crazy because it's a simple question, but I can get the words of my mouth. It's a really good place to find good people and good artists. Like it's like how if I describe that shit. Like you literally, if you need help, if you feel down or something, you can go there. If you need an artist to your song, you can go there. If you need everything, you can go there, and there will be a response or a solution to that shit.
Most
That's what I
definitely.
think. I think it's different. it's a good collective that Struge and other people create.
Very
And
good.
I'm just gonna throw it out. I'm gonna throw it out there, like, because I'm in like a controversial mood tonight. I think that um, it's really unnecessary to say in a way, but I want to say it anyways. I think that the talent that has been assembled by Scrooge and by the connections that we've built, I think that um, there's a lot of people that I sorry, it froze on me. There's a lot of people I do fuck with, like in some other collectives and stuff, but I just think that when it comes to the underground collectives that are going right now, we just have the most going for us, the most versatility, and the most like. There's really no artist in there that like is like just doesn't belong there. And when there were people in there who are kind of like not so much sounding that great, they kind of were like, okay, we're cool with you, but like you're not like we kind of like have made the decision to move on, you know,
Yeah.
from having you work with us. And like it's not always the easy decision to make, especially when it's a cool person we're working with that we fuck with. And like, you know, certain people who are members are no longer members because either they weren't contributing or they weren't making music or they weren't like at the level that some of the rest of us felt like we were at in terms of taking things seriously. It's all love, you know, but I feel like what we have right now is a group of people who all have diverse styles, but all are doing a lot and like constantly dropping. Like Sturge, Sick Boy, Sage, like so many of these people like are just always releasing music or always recording music, and like to
Bangers.
me, it's just like that's so important, you know.
Way important. And the people you just named, those are some of my favorite artists. Sick Boy, Scrooge, Immense, Sage, you guys. And to be honest, I don't know everyone in Soul Souls. I know that there's other members that I haven't even heard their music yet. Now, um, is there anyone in the collective? Like, let me ask you. Let me say it this way: do you think it's weird when you have artists that are in all these different collectives and are just focusing on one?
Can you rephrase that? Because I think I know what you're saying, but I want to make sure I know.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll see an artist that's in the one collective, but then they're in another collective.
Like Scrooge.
Oh, word, Switch is in another collective?
I don't know if he still is, but you know, there's some overlap, a couple members with XO Click and Sold Souls.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, so there's like, and I know Troubled, for example, is in like 3 or 4 collectives, and
Oh, dang.
Kells, who I was telling you about, has like a few collectives in his bio. It it's interesting to me. I certainly find it to be a compelling aspect. There's been other people who are kind of that I, like weren't those people I just named at all. There's like maybe some other people I have in mind that were kind of in Soul Souls, but not on an official manner, and they kind of had their own thing going on. And then the next thing you know, like it's kind of like, well, are they really in it to help everyone else? But like, or are they kind of just in it so they can get a little bit extra of a boost? And like, I don't really know to this day if that's the case with some people, but it's like, you know, I don't really care. Sometimes people are like that you think may be a prominent member of Soul Souls. Really, to me, I'm like that person's never active. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
it's everyone's in there for their own reason, and not everyone in the group is gonna always agree 100% with everyone who's in it, and that's fine. And that's what's beautiful about it, is because people will accept it. You know, like if everyone is like, oh, this member's slacking, then something's gonna be done about it. But if people aren't really giving a shit, or for just 1 or 2 people are like, yeah, I don't like what this person's doing or not doing, it's like that's not really gonna be like, if I have a problem with someone and what they're like, their lack of effort in the group, and I say something like, Sturge has always valued my opinion, he'll value Barf's opinion, he'll value like OG people's opinions, but like
Yeah.
if it's just me saying it, sometimes I won't even say it because I know that it's like kind of irrelevant if it's just me feeling that way, you know.
Bark, what do you think about other artists being in multiple collectives?
I don't care, bro. Like it's their life, you know. If
Cap.
like uh, uh yeah, I don't know, bro. Like for me, while they don't give a problem to our group or something, everything cool. While they making music, right? Like if you in our group and just releasing songs with the other collective, bro, like go away from this collective at least, you know, like good for you, you making music, but you don't doing this doing things for our collective, you
Yeah.
know.
Well put, dog. Well put. Now, you guys are OGs in the collective. Is there anyone in the collective that you guys don't even know about, really, or do you guys know everybody?
Um, we kind of know everyone. There's no, like, I would say there's a few members that are not very active at all, or maybe they are known more well to, for example, like, I've never done like any collaboration with Ami6, but you know, Scar knows him in real life, and Barf knows him better than I do, and Sage has collaborations with him and stuff. So it's like that's an example of just something where it's like there's mutual respect there, but like I just haven't personally worked with him. And then like YD Wavy, we discussed doing a collaboration recently. He was just on vacation, so we haven't had a chance to really tap in on that. But like, you know, he'll not necessarily be the most active member. He'll always pop in and say what's up, and you know, so it's like that's kind of like, you know, there's stuff like that, but there's kind of like a core group of people who's always like active at certain times, and you know, with the different time zones and the differences, you know,
Yeah.
some day like today I woke up at 5 a.m., so like for that's when a lot of like Scar and
Yeah.
you know, maybe Waterland or Sick Boy, people like that will be active. Not Sick, well, sometimes Sick Boy, but they'll be active. And like I forget who it was. I know Scar and one other person was active this morning. I woke up at like 5 and I was talking to them, and like so yeah, so it's just like there's a lot of people who are in there. A lot of people are in there every day. There's some people who are only in there once in a while, and then maybe, you know, there's also, you know, so maybe some newer members too that like we haven't had the chance to collaborate with. But yeah, other than that, there's definitely like a main circle of active people that are constantly in communication and stuff, which is cool.
Since Uphill Radio started, and you know, I have these artists that I like and these collectives, like hands down, Sold Souls is on top of that list. It's top
Oh,
tier, bro. Like you guys
you
are
heard
just
it here
doing
first.
something different. Have you guys
Appreciate
ever
that.
thought about doing like a Sold Souls collective album?
Yeah, we just talked about that the other day, like yesterday, bro. Literally, like
Dang.
I was saying, I was saying that. What's up, Vic? What's going on? I was saying that we should do a maybe like compilation playlist,
Yeah.
um, that like would be some of the collaborations that we've already done. And then also I was saying like we've also had talks about like doing some um like new stuff, and or maybe even having something exclusively produced by the producer, one of the producers in the group, something like that. But you know, it's definitely something a lot of people are interested in, or like trying to put everyone on one track, like a cipher type thing, which would be kind of
Dang.
hard to fucking pull off, but it'd be dope.
That would be mad crazy, dog.
Yeah.
Having like amounts of y'all in one song going crazy. Like, have you ever heard One Blood remix by The Game?
I think so. I think when I think of it, I think more of like, have you heard like Oldie by Odd Future, where like it's like
Oh
a
yeah,
10 song? Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I think of.
That would be sick, dog. Hopefully you guys can get that rolling. That'd be dope.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. For sure.
now, be this is gonna change the topic a little bit, but Barf, what do you think about Drake?
Oh shit. Uh, he's overrated as fuck, bro. He calling himself lesbian. What do you say,
Oh yeah,
conference today?
yeah. He was like, "Girl, you're a lesbian, so am I." Yo, he's goofy as fuck, bro. I know you already know what I think about him, so.
Yeah, I don't fuck with him. I never heard a song from him. To be honest, I heard featurings. I heard featurings. I heard the only song I heard from him was Freestyle Toronto, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah.
That freestyle. Yeah, but that's it. I never heard. Not even to see his live that went viral
Oh yeah, the
last
TikTok
year.
song.
TikTok. Never heard that shit.
That's what the "Excuse Me" line is about. It's about that song and that dance. That shit so fucking.
The line and excuse me, that's what it was directed to.
Yeah, now that I got it out there, it's like I don't dance for kids because it's like a kid made
Sorry,
it.
I'm not right.
Kid created that dance and Drake did it and made it popular and like all the kids loved it. So Drake's literally out there dancing for kids. Like I'm like I'm not gonna sell myself out and like Drake didn't even need to do that. He's the biggest artist like in hip hop. So like the fact that he did that, it just shows that he's willing to do whatever it takes to get on the charts. So the fact that Kanye eventually overtook that #1 spot to me is mad funny to me. Like Kanye is obviously very polarizing himself, but like
Yeah.
just seeing Drake lose that and like I can just picture him throwing like a hissy fit. That shit makes me laugh.
Congruence, were you ever a fan of Drake ever or nah? You just weren't feeling
Oh shit, you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, I was
it.
a little bit, because like shut the fuck up, Sage. You always shouldn't have done that. So nah, like I had this thing where like my homie who shot the "Excuse Me" video, Meaningless Media, shout out to him. Like from like we go back from like all the way to high school. He and I, you know, we're in the scene. We were listening to Kanye a lot growing up and shit. But like, you know, Drake was around, and like that Drake and J. Cole had a song together called "In the Morning" that we really liked, and then Drake had a song with Party Next Door, and like then I think that um, 3 a.m. freestyle, whatever, like that. I think maybe it was "If You're Reading This It's Too Late" or something like that. There's a couple songs on there like when we would get drunk, they would sound kind of nice. I'd be like, oh, these are kind of like cool R&B songs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But after a certain point, I started seeing shit. Like I saw a video of him like with some girl hooking up with some girl on stage, and him saying something about her like not being old enough, and just some weird shit with that, and then texting like Millie Bobby Brown and all that shit. And I'm like, he just seems like he's one of those untouchable type people who's like so rich that eventually there's going to be some really shady shit that comes out about him. And like
Ooh.
I forgot to tell Barf this yesterday, but I was at this gathering on Memorial Day, and this girl was like, do you think Drake killed X? And I was like, oh, my friend thinks that. And I'm like, I think Drake's too soft to have someone even do it. But like Barf kind of believes that, right?
Yeah, because X call him a pussy and because Drake stole his whole fucking song.
Hey yo, like to touch on it, like I do a lot of research on stuff like that, and it shows that Drake did some crazy stuff, bruh. The whole X thing.
Really? Like,
Told you, bro. Told you.
Yeah, it's
you think
facts.
like that? You think that's how it went down?
Yeah, I know for that's how they get their powers, bro. Like those weird rituals, bro. And the evidence shows,
I,
bro. Like RPX.
I,
For
but
real.
I wouldn't necessarily believe it, but the point that the girl made yesterday or 2 days ago that kind of like gave me a little bit more belief in it is like I'm like, yeah, I just think he's too soft to even like um live with the idea of like giving a hit on someone. But now she was like, yeah, but like when you get to a certain level of money and power, like it changes you. So I'm like, that kind of opened my mind up, and I'm like, yeah, maybe it is possible. You know what I mean? So
Dang, that's crazy.
Uh,
So, Barf, you believe that?
Cause, yeah, cause for me it's crazy that four people kill a man that had million of dollars. Imagine splitting 50K that he had to buy a bike in four people and in front of a lot of cameras that you know you will go to jail for a long time and just for 50K, bro. It's stupid. Like even if one person did that, like do that for 50K, it's just not enough money to go into jail for 25 years, you know.
That's a good point too, dog. That's a good point. The whole video was weird. The pictures, it was
Yeah.
very strange, dog. It's strange, bro. And then if you want to talk about it, Drake and the whole Kanye thing about Drake making a song about Kanye to end his career is like, what? What is he doing? Like, what could be so? What could it be? You know, is he capping or what?
Drake and like Drake will never, in my like Drake will always have like the pop culture like mainstream crowds approval. I even then I feel like he's kind of falling off. I don't hear a ton of like even like younger people talking about him as much lately. But in my opinion, like even though a lot like also Kanye has fallen off in the public eye because of his controversial behavior, I still think that if you look back in history, um, Drake may end up having better numbers or whatever. But when you look at the scope of music and who changed like what um, and who was more innovative, who had more talent, who had more classics and masterpieces, Kanye is gonna win no matter how many more albums Drake makes. Like it's just facts, and like I really don't think that like it's even up for debate. It's just like because without like when Kanye says without him there is no Drake. Some people say, oh no, it's like without no Lil Wayne, there's no Drake. But guess what? Like without Lil Wayne and Kanye, Drake would just kind of maybe only be like just like a
For real?
pun rapper. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
uh, Kanye for me. I mean, he always had a special place in my heart, and like I'm kind of conflicted with him these days. But like, nah, like, uh, nah,
Don't even compare, huh?
no.
Yeah, I would say like Drake is the musician, where Kanye is like an artist. If that makes sense.
He's a genius.
Yeah,
Yeah, Drake.
a mad genius.
Drake has like this formula that he sticks to because he knows what works and what will do well. Kanye just does whatever the fuck he wants. And that's like, regardless, like I don't approve of him bringing out Marilyn Manson and like intentionally bringing out sketchy ass people for no reason, like other than to stir up controversy. I don't approve of any of like the sketchy ass shit that he's said over the last few years. But obviously, he does suffer with mental illness. You have to take that into consideration, even though it's not an excuse.
Right.
Um, I don't condone any of that, but at the same time, it's like I can't overlook his skill and what he's been able to accomplish, and it's just like it's there's just no one like that. And regardless of what you think of him, you can't deny that like he's been such an innovator. But it's like his personality
Yeah,
gets in the way. It gets in the way, and people won't even listen to the new album because of how much drama and shit that he's been involved with and who he's become as a person. I don't blame those people. I'm not out there screaming from the rooftops listening to Donda and shit, and I don't really listen to like the whole album in full. It's so fucking long. But like I, if I had to listen to that or
it is
Drake's
long.
album, obviously I'm gonna choose Kanye.
Yeah. Bark, what do you think about Kanye's production, his beat making skills? Are you a fan of that or not?
They are crazy.
Mac.
They are they are fucking crazy. But uh, uh, part I think if it it's like was making crazy beats before I even born. Like uh, motherfucker was like touching buttons and had Jay-Z like vibing like, oh, this man,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that's great. That's great. Like have Jay-Z vibing to your shit like that, bro. It's like you're next level.
yeah. I seen videos like that. That's wild, dog. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we got some questions from the fans, from the viewers.
Let's go.
First question up is, when is Barf marrying Sick Boy for citizenship in the USA?
Oh, oh shit. No, bro. Um, never, never.
Never. You said.
Never. That's the answer. Never, dog.
That's
Yo,
cap.
yo, next question. Why does congruence suck toes?
Oh shit.
I can't tell if like Sage or Sick Boy or Scar asked that. I only suck toes if I'm in a very, very committed relationship, and that's just because if I truly love someone, I love every inch of them.
Hey, yo, Barf, what about you? Are you gonna suck toes?
Bro, come on. I was when I was at my lowest of economy, I was waking up with roaches in my mouth. I was sleeping in a mattress in the floor. I would suck everything, bro.
That's
Yo,
a fucking weird answer. I like that.
that is a good answer, dog. Next question. Why are you called Barf?
Barf. Because, now I'm like, okay, I like to make to be a persona on the internet, like I got this tat in my neck for a reason. Not everything is just like, ah, no, because I want this. No, it's like I want to build a persona.
Hmm.
And uh, it's a crazy story because still the day I told this motherfucker sage in Congress the story of behind my name. When I had like $2 per day to spend on food. I was like having everyday parties, like little hamburger, and the name of those hamburger were Barfy.
Oh wow.
So I was like, yo, bro, and I saw that shit every day.
Yeah.
That I had that shit in my mind when I put my name. So I was like, Barfy, Barfy. Nah, that shit's corny as fuck, bro. Nobody will like that shit. And I was like, Barf. Oh, that shit is like 4 letters, simple, And then I found out that that means vomit. So
Yeah.
I was perfect. That's me. That's me. I'm gonna be vomit. Vomit
Ah,
killer.
This man's named
polarizing.
after meat, bro.
Yo, that's polarizing, dog. So what's Keller from?
That's a brand of that was the brand of my first motorcycle.
Oh,
I had Keller.
dang.
Lawsuits are incoming from the motorcycle company and the burger company.
uh, this is more like a comment, not a question. It says here, the bald guy said hi.
That that's
Scar.
that's definitely Scar. He couldn't think of anything, so shout out Scar. Shout out Scar. I wish he could have thought of something more than that, but hey,
Yeah.
he's owning up to it. He owns the baldness. He's rocking it. Barf may or may not have dug up some pictures of Scar non-bald, and the consensus is that he's meant to be bald.
He's meant to be bald. That's crazy. Next question.
Yeah, it's just he rocks it.
How come Khan had a solo track but not Chevy?
Had what?
Why did Khan have a solo track but not Chevy on the Go tape?
Yeah, Chevy has
Yeah, that's cap.
waste.
That's cap. Chevy
Some
has
wastage from
yeah,
Chevy.
Chevy has waste. That's a solo track.
So they ain't listened to the whole tape.
Yeah, whoever said that did
Who
not.
is speed names?
Yeah,
Speak. Who
yeah.
was
Let's
that?
I
expose it.
I made sure I put no names on here, y'all.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
Just the
But
questions.
only a few people called me Khan, and it wasn't Sturge, so I'm a guess. No, it wasn't VE either because he jokingly said that he's like, yeah, the tape was fire. He's like, Waste was my favorite song. He said
Yeah.
that to me because he was trying to poke fun at me. So I don't know who said it, but whoever said it, go listen to Waste. That song's fire.
Go listen to the whole tape, y'all.
For real, for real.
Here's another one. What is your favorite track from the album? I already asked you guys that.
yeah.
Another one was How'd Y'all Met. I already said that. Oh, here's one right here. This is for Khan, for you. Do you think this album finally made you have approval in the crave from Immense? The approval.
Yeah, I do because he is really, really into the album, and he's been talking to me a lot about how amazing of a product it is, and he's also, he showed a lot of love to Flow Star. I think he put it on his story today, and we've been talking a little bit more. He's been kind of dealing with some stuff. He's been offline for a while, but he him and I have a similar dynamic to what Sage and I have, but it's even more like petty. Like him and I are always like saying like shit, and we're all like, always dissing each other, and like um it got to a point where like at one point I was like, we barely ever say anything nice to each other, and then like when the tape dropped, he was like, yo, he's like, you guys really did, like, he's like, I just finished listening to it, like, you guys really did a great job, and like he was listing off his favorite songs and shit, and like those kind of like those kind of responses, even if it's from, it doesn't matter if it's from someone in our group, a fan, like those type of in-depth responses, whether it's from you, you know, a couple other people when they're naming their favorites and they're telling me or us how they felt about it, those mean so much to us because it doesn't matter about the plays and shit. It's more about what people are getting out of it and how much respect they're putting on it. And I'm just glad that it didn't get overlooked because there's so much good music coming out of the collective. I'm just glad that everyone who did listen to the whole thing took the time out to listen to it and give us their thoughts on it.
For sure. It really sets the tone for the day, too, bro. It's good vibe, good tape. Hella good tape.
Appreciate
Next question. Who is Johnny? He was on the first track.
Yeah, I found that guy in the last year. I contacted him in October of the last year, and I was like, "Yo, bro, I have this." I found him again in the hashtag post, and I was like, "Oh, I fuck with this guy," and I sent him the the remix, the open, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I fuck with it. I'ma do some in the next couple of days. I'ma send you some." So he sent the shit, and uh, it it was almost a year that before we released that shit, cause he finished his verse in October last year,
Yo,
and we released that shit in almost September, so
damn.
almost 1 year.
Almost about a year, huh? Con, what do you think about Johnny as an artist?
He's him and I have like some cool similarities. Like I got this chain on right now at the Eye of Horus, and he has like not the exact same one. I think it's a different chain, but he has the same pendant, and
But
he's
that's
into,
that two of that shit too.
yes, and like so he's into like some spiritual stuff, and like from the beginning, I think he's kind of busy, so like he wasn't always like as active as like Chevy and all of us were. Like we wanted him on like another song. We did talk about getting him on to another song on the tape. It just never really came together. But I thought that he killed that verse, and that he dropped a few music videos like in between making the remix and when the album dropped. He dropped a few music videos, and they're real official. And he's got bars, and he's doing a style that has been done, but he's doing it in a different way. So I got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, that's badass because he's the only feature on the tape, and it's well deserved. He did a good job. He really did.
Yeah, exactly. Like we thought about maybe having a couple other people on there, and I'm not saying that there's not other people that would have necessarily fit, but I think that it just that was the first song, and then after that, like I said, like everything flowed, and it was just the three of us, Chevy, Barf, and I, all locked in, and like we just didn't ever. It didn't cross our mind to be like, well, there's more time on this beat. Let's try to get other people involved. Like, there's always a time for and a place for that, and there are, Sage and I have some songs that we're gonna record that Barf made a beat for, and there's different collabs like that coming. It's just that they weren't. This album was meant to come out with the three of us, and then that there happened to just be that one feature on there, which fits in well. So
That was sick. Have you ever thought about doing a music video to any of your songs on the Go tape?
yeah, um, I had a lot of ideas, to be honest, and I kind of lost motivation for it once Chevy kind of had to deal with his personal situation, because I did have one idea for like "Come Down" because most of the song is my vocals, and I was like, yeah, I could probably shoot something for that, and I was trying to find like an actress to be in it, and um, I've had a lot more success in the past with that. Also, some issues have come out of that too, some drama, but it just didn't really come together, so that kind of didn't happen. Then I kind of thought about like maybe doing one for Millie. I wouldn't rule that out because it's a solo one. I wouldn't need Chevy to be in it. I could do something for that. I definitely want there to be some sort of visual aspect. It's just that
Yeah.
right now there's limited resources. I have a couple of people who can do video shooting for me. I have more editors than I have shooters, but the shooters are very busy, and they're not, their primary jobs aren't videographer, so it's tough.
I feel that. I feel that. And I understand, especially after telling us what you're going through right now. Um, Final question for you both. What's the next thing that's coming up after this podcast, starting with Mark?
Oh, oh, the next thing that is about to come, I can talk about this shit like it's a surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
I have with other people too. Yeah, but um, it's like in the next couple of days, maybe I'm a drop. We like me and those people will drop the info about that, like uh, when we gonna drop.
Dang,
I don't know.
so
I don't know what he's talking about. Actually, I'm not being sarcastic. I have no clue what he's talking about.
yo, so it'll be a surprise for you too, huh?
Do I know about it, Barf, or no?
Yeah, bitch. We were talking about that shit before, like.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, no, that's gonna be cool for sure. That's gonna be real cool.
Dang, looking forward to that, Barf. Now, with you, Congruence, what's the next thing you can tell us that you're working on that's going to
Um,
come up?
I'm gonna give you another exclusive. I'm gonna drop a song that goes back to the Lazy era. Like it was mixed by Lazy, and it was right around the time I did the first shots for the Excuse Me video. I was kind of like in this crazy state, like a manic state, kind of like that. I kind of was like, this is probably what Kanye feels like when he's creating an album, like
Dang.
just caught up in it. I'm like all over the place, a bunch of ideas and shit. And like, I remember I woke up this one day and I had this real powerful energy and I just had to do something, and I found this perfect beat, wrote this song. Lazy did like a couple mixes on it, and eventually it was mixed, and I was like so hyped on it. Everyone was like, at the time, it wasn't Barf and Chevy who were like my crew at that time. It was the record label dude and Lazy, and like they were saying like that was my best song by far, and they're like, keep going in that direction, you spaz on it. So that was in like January, and then in February when I finished up Fifth Dimension, I went in and I had the mix, and I was like, I had a little extra time in my session. I'm like, can you master this? And I had my homie Josh over at the studio in Boston master it. So I'm gonna drop that song on my birthday, which is on Sunday,
This Sunday?
on the 12th. So that song's coming out on Sunday, and then I have the EP on the 17th, and one other secret thing happening in between then, and I'm hoping to get a West Coast show with Sage and Sick Boy, and hopefully some other artists can join us. Maybe not. And Sage and I are trying to get, as he said in the chat here, like him and I are gonna want to do an interview with you as well, because where we have a little bit of something going on as well that's gonna kind of it's coming together. It's gonna probably come after moved on from Congruence, but I'm gonna be involved with it. It's hard to explain, but yeah, that's what I
Yo,
got going on.
yo, thanks for the exclusive, bro. Those are some good, exciting things to look forward to.
I got you.
Dang. Hey, yo, for all the viewers that are watching right now and that are gonna watch later, tell them where they can find all your music, all your art.
So Go is everywhere but Apple Music.
I got Apple Music.
Yeah, well, fuck. Honestly, I'm gonna throw shade at DistroKid because they make the process. I mean, it is Apple too, but they make the
Dang.
process super hard to like. They just rejected it because we had released the singles, and they were trying to say I didn't name the
And,
songs
and,
exactly
and
right.
they charge a lot of money for that shit.
For real.
Yeah, so like I'm hoping that we can get that onto Apple. All my solo stuff is on all platforms except oddly Fifth Dimension also isn't on Apple for the same reason.
Dang.
So I'm gonna try to sort that when I can, and the rest of my stuff is like the newest release and the EP that'll be on all platforms. YouTube, I got a couple of music videos out on YouTube. Uh, that's where my stuff's at. Barf stuff. Um,
You can find me on Track Train for my beats. Um, it's Barf Keller. You can type that. It's my name. Uh, I have Instagram Anarchist Forever. I have SoundCloud where Go is for free, not to download but to listen to. Um, and that's it. And I have a YouTube channel for my beats too. That is called Barf Keller on the track too.
Oh wow, sick. Barf Keller on a track.
On that like the like
Yo, Barf Keller, congruence. Thank you for joining Upper Radio, getting this interview locked in. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
much
much
love.
love.
You guys have a good night now.
A great time. Appreciate you, brother, as always.
Thank you, y'all.
For
You have a
real.
good one.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.